This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, with that, I will call to order this meeting of the Easthampton Planning Board for Tuesday, March 17th. Ken is remote. Greetings, Ken.
Good morning. I mean, good afternoon.
Yeah, and we are recording this meeting, and I understand that Sherry Law, is that your name?
Yes.
She will also be recording her presentation later, just for public disclosure. So first item on the agenda is public speak. Is there anyone in the room or online that would like to speak to anything not on the agenda tonight? All right. Is there anyone other than Ken online, Dylan? Okay. All right, then moving right along, we have approval of minutes. First up is the December 16th, 2025 planning board meeting.
I motion to approve the minutes for December 16th, 2025.
Second.
All right, voting to approve the minutes for December 16th. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed, abstaining, great. Next up, February 3rd minutes.
I motion to approve the February 3rd, 2026 minutes.
Second.
Voting to approve the minutes. All in favor? Aye. Excellent. All right, moving right along, we have an A&R from the Piscoma Conservation Trust. Someone here to speak to that, please? Name and address, and then let us know what we're looking at here.
So my name's Garrett Stover. I live in Northampton, 55 Fairview, and I'm a volunteer with the Piscoma Conservation Trust. And so we've been, hopefully, many people have visited Pomeroy Meadow Conservation Area, which was a already collection of two properties acquired at different times. And the trails that go down into conservation areas have the benefit of the trail easement. Property that was owned by George Brand, which was passed away last year. And we had a right of first refusal if the property was ever sold out of the family to acquire some portion of his neighboring property. And we've worked with his children who inherited the property to kind of sidestep that so that we have an agreement to buy 29 acres of the property that surrounds his house down by the bridge over the Manhattan. And also an easement, not a conservation restriction, but an easement for the benefit of our cultivation area over another 3.6 acres. So the total of that comes out to 72 acres with the existing conservation area. There's also protected land in Southampton across the river. And then the property that was recently protected by Kestrel Land Trust as part of the Growing Green Housing Conservation project. So with all of that together, there's almost 150 acres of contiguous land that would be protected. And it's, as you I provided some of the pictures that the late George Brand took. So there are fox, bear, deer, obviously, lots of birds of prey.
Great photographs. Like
yes.
Interesting, but also like incredibly well taken photos. Like that was a pleasant surprise. We don't get a lot of, yes, here we go. We don't get a lot of this stuff that comes in with submissions here. So that was a fun distraction from the paperwork.
Yeah, and I'll pass the compliments.
Yeah, look at this one. That was incredible.
I'll pass the compliments along to
Please
his children because the land meant a great deal to him. And it's really exciting to be able to protect it. So the reason we're here, it's a complicated situation that he actually owned two adjacent parcels, and the subdivision, the A&R subdivision that we're proposing, basically smushes those two parcels together and then carves out a house lot that conforms to zoning that surrounds the existing house. and then the land that would be under the protective easement surrounding that, so the family can enjoy that while they continue to own the house without having the public in their faces. And then the remaining land of those two parcels is what we're acquiring in fee.
So one quick question. I'm not sure it's probably not relevant to our actual decision today, but so there's the house lot that the family is going to continue to own, and there's the conservation land, which is going to be held by Piscomic Trust or some other nonprofit property owning entity.
Yeah, so Piscomic is acquiring that larger
The
piece.
larger one. So then the family lot, is that being owned by the family still?
Yes.
Okay, so they'll own it, but Piscomic and will have an access easement or something like that for the.
Well, so the agreement is that so long as George's children, their children, or their grandchildren own the house, that it stays in the family. But if it gets sold outside the family, then the Piscomic can acquire the nominal.
Very cool.
I should say that in respect to George's stewardship of this land, and because there already are existing trails, the plan is to keep this as wildlife habitat with no human intrusion. So we're with some severity saying that people should not be expecting to be able to walk onto this new land.
Yeah.
And that's one reason for the pictures, is to show how much it's appreciated and used by wildlife.
Yeah. Any questions or comments from planning board members?
A&R is about the F word, frontage. So I know we've got some non-buildable lots here.
Yes.
And then the house lot, and normally we look for our 100 or 150 feet. Do you have the map there?
Yeah.
Are you seeing any frontage? This, and
This and the house lot, this is the family lot, and this is the protected area.
don't see any indications of feet that this is clearly long enough.
Yeah.
They're non-buildable though, so it's not, it's an interesting situation in that,
Yeah.
you know, really we're allowed to decide an A&R only on one thing and one thing only, and it's frontage. There are no other facts involved. So I motion to endorse the A&R for the Piscomic Conservation Trust for 90 Glendale Street.
Second.
Any comments from planning department?
Nope, everything checks all the boxes for what it needs to from A&R in terms of conformity with zoning.
Great. All right, then voting to endorse the A&R for 90 Glendale Street. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, excellent. Garrett, thank you so
very
much.
From us, from the trust, and from the family, and from all those critters.
Well,
Thank
from
you.
us back to you folks. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
And before you go,
Oh,
I got
yes.
all the documents right here for you.
I'll start, let's get this one started and I'll sign while I listen with my back turned, no offense. All right, so next up on the agenda is Sherry La Diola, special permit pursuant to table 5-1 retail and service to operate a food truck court at 114 North Hampton Street. I apologize if I've already mispronounced your name.
Oh,
but
no worries.
Name and address, and no disrespectful, I signed this paperwork. Keep going.
Oh, my address?
And name.
Yes.
Yeah, name Sharila Diola is my name. I am currently residing in West Springfield, but I normally live in Northampton. So I own Ginger Love Cafe. It's a Filipino street food truck that have been operating for the last 6 years in the Pioneer Valley and all over New England. We go to music festivals and you know, the Abandoned Building Brewery Food Truck Friday and any other events that are in town. And I'm here to basically request permission to open a seasonal food truck park at 114 Northampton Street, which is the Cernak parking lot. I have Mr. Cernak with me right now. Basically, the reason why I wanted to request this is because I have observed through the years of being in the business that food trucks don't really have anywhere else to park their food trucks in the area, especially in the business district. We're very dependent on events and, you know, if we're invited, and then on top of that, the fees are very high. And so I figure that there's this space in Easthampton that I could probably turn into a food truck park, and that's why I'm here. So the idea is to, create a food truck park with 6 to 8 food trucks. And essentially it's going to be from Monday to Sunday and from 11 to 9, and then Sundays 11 to 7. So it's just a space where people can come and get food from the food truck. They can hang out in the grassy area in the back. The park, there's ample parking space in the lot, and then the small businesses and the food truck vendors can come and sell their stuff. And it's also, this is beneficial for the small businesses and also for the community itself, because it will become a hub for people to hang out outdoors during the warmer months. And we're thinking of doing this for the first year, from spring all the way to maybe November, and see how the weather holds up, see if we can extend it. So but that's kind of like our plan right now. It's kind of like a seasonal thing. So yeah, so everything is planned out already. I've spoken to a few food trucks that are interested, and we've already talked to the Board of Health. We talk to the Board of Health all the time because we have to get their permission and their permit all the time when we operate. And we also work closely with Captain Dan Constantine for all of the, things that we need to do to, get approved for the year. So I'm just here. So hopefully you can give us permission to do that.
Dylan, can I just ask, we now have a food truck permitting process, is that right? Is this just a special permit and that's just the use under it? I know we changed it not that long ago.
I know we had the food truck in the neighborhood business district that we permitted a little bit differently. With this one, I opted to permit it the way that it had been permitted at this site previously.
Right.
Under that fast food kind of drive-in style.
Okay.
Is that the Jack's?
Captain Jack's when they
Jack's
relocated.
was there?
You know,
So basically we're treating this normally.
yes, the same way that you had treated Captain Jack's in the highway business district.
Good question.
And so when you say seasonal, you're envisioning an ongoing permit. You wouldn't come back every year. You're requesting for the fact that this would just be seasonal. You don't plan on running it in the winter. Is that what your intent is?
Yeah, because it's probably going to be harder to do it, especially with the winter that we had this year, to operate it past December. It's probably going to be until December if we would. I mean, I would like to have like a permission and not to come back here every year, but I don't know how that works.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit, some of the stuff that you submitted in writing is a little different, I think, than what you just said. So what is the season that you're thinking you would like to have approval for? Just so we sort of know. And
Yeah.
and you don't necessarily have to limit yourself, but I just want to know what you're thinking so that we can put that in our decision.
Hint,
Yeah,
ask
for
for
sure.
more, not less.
Right.
Sorry.
I said hint, ask for more, not less.
Okay. Well, it's weather dependent, but ideally April to December.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll say April 1st to December 31st. And then I think what you just said, because the submission here has Tuesday through Saturday, and then Sunday, but I think you said Monday through Sunday.
Yeah. So I think the original letter said that, but ask for more Monday to Sunday, right? So I would just figure that we haven't really finalized the dates
Yep.
of when it's open, but the idea is to have just an open permission to operate from Monday to Sunday. And it's probably not going to be as active every single day, but I just want to give that option to food truckers because
Yep.
sometimes the lunch rush for the weekdays is going to be good business for the food trucks. And, some nights probably in the weekdays would be good as well. So I figure summertime, longer days, might as well expand it from Monday to Sunday. And then we'll work out the schedule to minimize it later on if need be.
Okay, so in here, it looks like the earliest you think you would open is 11. and the latest would be 9 PM.
Yeah,
So fair to say 7 days a week, 11 to 9 would sort of cover all your options? Does
yeah,
that, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but just to be safe, okay.
yes.
And then I think you said 6 to 8 trucks, but when I look on the sketch you have, it's got spots for 6 of them. What are you thinking there?
Yes, so the other end of the line, which is there's two columns, and then the other 2 spots, technically, the park can hold 8 trucks. With the distance and all of that, parameters that's allowed. So I wanted to start with 6 spaces, just because it's our first year of doing it. But I want to ask that permission to get it to 8, just in case we're like, okay, we can get more trucks in here.
What do you have
And
for parking spaces for cars, for customers and employees or whatnot?
so we have the left side right there. It's
Yeah.
a really, really big lot, and
Is it gonna
we
be
can-
striped and painted with parking spots, or is it just gonna be left open?
it's probably just gonna be left open for the
Okay.
first year.
So those parking spots,
Yeah, it's
those
all
parking
cars.
spots aren't tied with Liberty, with,
Fire
with
ants?
fire
Yeah.
ants.
No, it's a
That's-
totally separate parcel. Yeah. So if you see the cars right on that column where the food truck is on the right, that's just because the person that draw the plans put some cars there, but there shouldn't be any cars there. We want the traffic to be on just one side for
Yep.
safety. But what's gonna happen on that side is probably the entry point, and we're just gonna put like kind of like a barrier from the last truck so that the entrance and the exit is 2 separate sides. And then that way it's safer.
I'm confused now.
This is a circumstance where I wish we had a laser pointer. I don't normally do this because I want the audience to be able to hear what you're saying.
Oh,
So I'm gonna
sure.
ask you to say this twice. I'm
Okay,
gonna ask you to go to one of the 2 screens.
Yeah.
And say it again using your finger to point it, and then go back and say it again.
Yeah, like
Okay.
where cars are coming in and where they're coming onto the site and off the site.
okay, so basically this cars right here are not going to be there. So all the cars are gonna be on this side.
Yep.
And then the entry point will be here, and we're gonna have some sort of a barrier here.
Okay.
And then the car would enter from here, and the car that's leaving will exit from here. it
Okay,
goes
so they'll
like
both
this.
leave directly, they'll enter and leave on Northampton Street.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
okay.
it's just on 2
You'll
different
come in on the
sides.
right-hand side of the
Right.
screen and leave on the left-hand side of the
Correct.
screen.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So how many spots does that leave for actual parking?
This one, more than 40, more than 50 cars.
You seem hesitant.
Yeah, I haven't measured each car depending on the size of the car, but, I wanna say around 40.
Go ahead.
So I will say, I measured out just kind of what those dimensions are and what our parking requirements are and kind of what you would get out of there. And if you assume you have 2 lanes for traffic to move through the lots and then the standard 9x20, it gives you about 43 and a fraction parking spots there.
Okay. And for this kind of use, Dylan, our parking bylaw is probably a little bit inapplicable, right? I mean, we're kind of talking, because that's by square footage of the restaurant. Is that usually how they do it?
Yes, and if
So-
you try to calculate the square footage, you could maybe interpret it at the highest end of, if you take from food truck end to food truck end, assume maybe 30 feet in between. It's technically 70 feet, but that's a real,
I mean,
You're
in
kind of
some ways,
stretching
it's
to
just the
get
trucks,
there.
and in other ways, the trucks are just the kitchens, and the restaurant is this whole parcel we're looking at, right? So it kind of, that's why I think it doesn't necessarily
Even
work.
in that worst case scenario, what's the required amount?
in that worst case scenario of you assume from food truck, the corner here, all the way down here, and I'm assuming it's roughly about 30 feet in between, that you end up with, 70 would be the
70
required.
is the number. Okay, sorry.
What would be required
For
if-
sort of a worst case scenario, but
Yeah.
I don't think that middle area really counts either. Again,
No, this is just like picnic tables and stuff, but the food truck is right here. It's 20 by 20, and then there's that
there's the
10.
buffer in between each one, right?
Yeah,
And again, though, like if you're talking about, a regular interior restaurant, we would include all of the sitting area and everything, right? So like in
Mhm.
some ways, it's that whole area, in other ways, it's not.
I struggle with this, Jesse.
And I also, that part's tricky.
Well, the problem I have is I suspect your food is delicious
Oh, thank
and I
you.
want to go. And I want to tell my friends to go, every single one of us and everyone
Yeah,
else
you're
I know.
more than welcome. We're gonna
And-
have an opening party.
I have more than 40 friends with trucks. I do. And so we'll fill that in no time. So I think that the truth is people are going to come and people are going to go.
Yeah.
And I'm a little worried. What is your plan? In order for me to say, yeah, 43-ish is going to be enough, and it's not the worst case, and I don't believe it's the worst case. I need to know what your plan is if there's more cars than can park. What are you
Right.
gonna do?
We're gonna have to put a sign outside that parking is full. They're gonna have to like hop on another car and park somewhere else.
Who does that? I mean, are you cooking or are you managing?
Oh, we're gonna probably, so within, it's a collaboration within food trucks, so we're gonna have
Can I
maintenance.
just have you go back to the
I'm sorry,
microphone?
Ken.
That's okay. I think Ken can probably hear all that, but.
I can hear.
Okay, good, thanks.
Oh, okay, hi. So I'm thinking that, so this is a collaboration between food trucks. I'm not the landlord. Mr. Cernak is the landlord. I'm just a representative and the idea person. But I would like this to be a collaboration within the food truck. So we have like a condo fee that all of the miscellaneous fee are gonna go in there, and that's gonna be part of like if there's some attendance that we need to pay for the day.
Can you explain a little bit about it looks like there's a stage and there's no amplified music, but there's other music. That's another tricky part with the parking, right? Cause like James, I could see myself going there with a group of friends and getting dinner and then leaving, but I could also see myself hanging out for 2 hours and listening to music, which would make the parking more of a.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Yes, I know.
crazy.
So the first year probably won't have music because we wanna kind of feel it out first. And then we can resolve the stuff later on. Once we go through the whole, we can experience it. So that's the idea. So for parking, I don't know. I was just there and I looked at it and it's a massive space. I just didn't bring my tape measure or didn't do all of that to see the parking. But I think the other thing also that I was thinking is, just letting it be and then kind of like figure it out as we go. And then like with the parking spots, River, it's right next door, I'm just kidding.
I want to talk to
I
you about
know, I'm just joking. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of space there, and I feel like the last time when the Captain Jack was there, and they had cars parking on that side of the street, and they had like tables around, and they have room for everybody. So I never really saw it like crazy.
James.
Your question didn't get answered, so I actually apologize about that because I just realized I'm interrupting and you're asking about live music.
I think it did get answered in the sense that they don't have plans for it this year.
No,
I
no
mean,
live music, is that what I heard?
No live music this year. We're just gonna try to let it play out and then see what next season brings.
Okay, because it said specifically here, no amplified music, so that's not true. In the future, you might do it. You don't want to have to come before.
I
this
don't
board
want
again.
something we don't want something that's loud because we want it to be a family friendly affair.
But there might be a band. with
No
it
band,
not amplified.
probably like a one person with,
Okay.
I mean,
acoustic music.
just
Cause
sort
in the back, if you see in the back of the map,
Can you-
there's actually a grassy area.
Absolutely.
There's actually a grassy area on top, and that's where I'm picturing that everybody would go and hang out. We'll have some tables, hanging around by the food truck, but most of the seating area would be the grassy area in the back. And I won't probably have any music right now. I think we're just gonna feature the food trucks for the first year, and then we'll figure out next year if we need to.
Is the lot paved?
Yes,
the parking area is the back part is grass, right?
grass.
Yeah. I mean, personally, for me, I'm more inclined to not permit the music and entertainment and you could come back and modify it next year. just
Sure.
Because I have questions about the parking,
Sure.
and I think the first thing to solve that problem is if people are coming to have their food and then leave, it's more likely there's turnover, because again, I could spend all afternoon there. But I am still struggling with the parking spots and especially not quite. I understand your back of the napkin, Dylan, but like if it's not gonna be striped and it's
Cause you
not gonna
gotta
be
have
marked.
flows through to get in and out of here. They can't always be like that.
Right.
Cause you gotta come to the front. And worse than that, if you get in a situation where it's packed, and I suspect it's not gonna happen all the time, but there's gonna be times like that, and it's not striped, you're gonna have some jerk taking up 2 spots. It's gonna cause strife. And you're kind of doing this group managed thing, which is great, but I almost, for me, I'm concerned about the parking, and I also kind of am a little bit concerned about, I almost wish there was like an HOA, that there was like a written document about how they're gonna manage it, so that we could say that we'd have a condition that there's always gonna be someone who's, when on shift, appointed the manager to handle something like this.
Right, so,
We can condition staff, employees, something like that.
yeah, so that's pretty much what I was saying about like, it's like a condo fee where we would put money into it that will pay for all the miscellaneous for the space. So, you know, obviously we need a bathroom to rent, we need maintenance for the grounds, we need oil, you know, what do you call this? To get rid of the oil.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the gray water. So those things, and then electricity. So we need to basically kind of like put a pool of money, which I have spoken with the food trucks, that we can put like a condo fee attached to the monthly rental. And then that takes care of everything, and including whatever we need for like a person attendant, like a parking attendant. I would say there will be a parking attendant who will have to take care of the parking so it's not chaotic for sure,
I think that,
especially on the weekends.
I mean, for me, that would definitely be a condition. I mean, I love this plan and I really wanna try to help make it work. I'm really struggling without like a firm plan for striped spots and like a circulation. Like I'm also a little concerned this whole curb on Northampton Street, like how are we gonna put a barrier up there so there's an entrance and exit? Like I kind of think we might need to see something like that, both in a plan and then so we can condition that.
Yeah, so what kind of barrier would you think, like would like a yellow cone would be okay, or
Yeah,
or a orange cone?
I feel exactly the way Jesse did. I want this project to succeed and I want it to see it go forward, but it's a little too rough for me at this point. My recommendation would be to actually go have a real plan. I think this is a suggestion on my part, but I think what I would like to see would be to engage a professional to help you make a plan.
Yeah, actually, I did. I paid for that.
no, I believe that, but I think what we're looking for, one of the boxes we have to check for the special permit is parking and like circulation and traffic for cars and pedestrians, right? So like something that like I can look here and like the things that we're looking for is like, okay, how are we gonna make sure? And maybe it's, you know, planters, you know, we've seen applicants that say we're gonna put like planters every 6 feet or, you know, a fence between them or whatever. Along Northampton Street. And then like, how are you gonna mark entrance and exit, and how are you gonna mark parking spots, and how are people gonna get in and out of the parking spots? And I think that
This says preliminary layout on it. What
Yeah,
I want is one that says plan and actually follows the rules of, plans.
yeah, and I mean we sort of you know, we try to be accommodating for projects of different size and budgets and all of that, and I hate to have somebody spend more money before this even gets off the ground. But like the parking and traffic flow for me just feel like it's a safety issue, but also I think this could be way more popular than you think. And Northampton Street is not the street I want to have people backed up trying to get out of or trying to shoot the gap to make a left-hand turn. So like I'd like somebody to be able to look at that and lay out on a drawing like a formal plan what the circulation plan would be. And I have a feeling that we would probably want like markings and signage and things like that to make that very clear to people.
for sure. Yeah, I mean,
Like I think that and as much as I'd like to just say like you guys all seem like you got good heads on your shoulders and like go with it and they'll do great. Like I think we owe it to everybody else to sort of like look at that a little more substantially also, so we can say you must do this, this, and this, instead of we sent you a way to solve these problems, because then we can enforce it and somebody can make sure things are working the right way. If it's
Sure.
not, it'll be our fault, not yours.
We spent a
Yeah.
lot of time permitting other projects all around this area, and I think what's going in right across the street from you is gonna have a major impact in the amount of business you get with all those residents there, and perhaps they'll all be getting takeout. You know, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of that, perhaps not, and because of the focus, a lot of those other projects helped us to put on Northampton Street, as Jesse said, we're very concerned about the overall traffic flow. If this board were to just willy-nilly approve a project like that,
Yeah,
any of the neighbors, or even ourselves, go home and feel good about ourselves, that wouldn't go over well. We need
Right.
just to, but I recognize that it costs, as Jesse said, a lot of money to engage professionals and put plans together. So specifically what Jesse said, something that shows the in-out flow that will, and definitely for me, it's gonna have to be striped. I'm gonna be unhappy.
I
if
think
it's-
that's right. I
if it's
agree
not
with
striped.
that.
so
I
let
need
me just write down what you guys are
Yeah.
requesting.
Yeah.
So you want a signage for entrance and exit.
Yeah, I think what the first thing is, like, I think you need like a professionally drawn plan, like an engineered plan for the parking and traffic part. Like, I think the layout, this is a great layout. It gives us the idea. But the areas where cars are gonna be driving in and out and traveling around on the site, I think we wanna know, like, where are the lanes gonna be? Are there gonna be arrows painted on the pavement? Are there gonna be signs, entrance, exit only?
Okay,
And then how are you going to restrict cars from either cutting out onto Northampton Street other than through the entrance and exit? And how are cars gonna move around in the big parking area? Like, I think if you go to somebody, they should, like a professional, they should be able to put that all together and it'll be
Okay.
pretty straightforward. But for me, those are the big things that are like outstanding that we need a little more like certainty
okay.
so we can.
So,
And I wanna throw in a
This is
couple
good
more.
Rough
Yeah.
plan
Yeah,
to
a couple
start
more.
with, but
Lighting is something
Yep.
I would wanna be asking about with that parking. You know, you're staying open till 9 PM, so it's not that late, but it is after dark. So there, you know, the parking lot, the food trucks, some kind of lighting is gonna have to be there. And,
okay,
I think there's still lighting towers on that site.
is that,
But I
okay?
don't
there
know.
is, but
Might
we're
not
gonna
work.
put Edison lighting
Okay.
outside and stuff. I actually have a nighttime version with a 3D presentation, but I figured that, you
Yeah, I
know,
mean,
I
the-
could show it to
The
you guys.
lighting, I think, is a little easier to sort of have you tell us what you're gonna do and we can just make that a condition.
Yeah,
But I think like we're gonna need to, like, I wanna be able to look at this and see exactly how many parking spots they can squeeze in here.
okay,
Whether they're doing that in a way that allows cars to sort of circulate in and out of the parking lot and all of that stuff. Cause I think this idea might be better than you're even expecting, or we might hope with the parking lot on the ground, so.
yeah, well, I just saw that the parking lot was, but there's no specific, measurements, and when I was there, when Captain Jack was operating, that parking seemed to not be a problem.
If you were talking about one truck, I think I would feel a
Yeah.
little easier about, let's sort of
Right.
wing it and hope what's gonna happen.
Right.
I also think, when we did that only for 1 year, cause we kind
Yeah.
of did wanna see what was gonna happen.
Yeah,
And like James, I'd rather just give you a green light to go run with this. Maybe the music is something that you have to come back for, but you know, I don't want you to have to try to figure this out on the fly. The Captain Jack situation was a little weirder too, because it was just during the construction, if I
Yeah.
remember right. So, but I think the six trucks is gonna be, I mean, that's gonna drive a lot of people over to your site.
yeah,
Hopefully.
I wanna add that I think it's very likely we're gonna, continue just so that you have an opportunity to come back with the things we're asking for. And so I just wanna lay out a few more things. We haven't talked about trash yet. We'll talk about that in a moment. But one of the things you talked about is that, you know, parking manager, we just talked about it.
mhm,
And we talked about the fact that you're running this kind of like an HOA. Often when we're dealing with an HOA, we'll ask for the HOA document or put a condition in that says the HOA document has to contain these things if we don't have the ability to see it in advance. I'm definitely gonna want something like that in a condition in any final permit. So when you do come back, any language you can bring us toward locking in that there's going to be a manager, there's going to be someone responsible for parking. Otherwise, we're going to create our own language. So I suggest that you definitely come at us with specific actionable language that we can refer to.
okay, so
And I-
HOA,
And
Sorry,
I'd like
Ken.
to see, maybe 1 or 2 spots for handicap parking.
Yep.
Oh, good point.
handicap parking.
Yeah.
Good point.
And I think, you know, I don't think this is necessarily something where you have to like repave this lot or anything like that, but I do think you're gonna need the parking spaces to be marked and the lanes of travel and all of that. I think I think it's gonna be too many people.
Yeah,
And I think your idea of having a parking attendant, I think that is gonna be one of our conditions, that we would
Yeah.
require that there's someone that's responsible for that at all times. But so you can be thinking about that with your group too, about how you're gonna be able to accommodate that and sort of build it into your business plan that way.
Mhm. Yeah, I was just like thinking that we are gonna start like just lightly
Yep.
and then kind of like plan it that way. So this is actually good that you guys giving me some feedback. So I know, it's when we open, the park is ready.
Yeah, I think that's exactly, I mean, I don't know about everyone else. I've never run a business like this before, but we've seen a lot of people come in and do this. And so a lot of this is just getting out in front of projects or problems that we've seen projects have or
Yeah.
things that we get out in front of generally. So like, I think just thinking these things through
Yeah.
and making sure that they're all feasible will be a big part of that.
Okay. Anything else? So I have this, you want basically to see the flow of the traffic, get a person that could do the planning. I could probably get that same guy that did that because that's what he did.
Yeah.
It's official. So probably get that, the parking flow, and you want the cars parking to be marked.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need
Striped.
striped spots in the lot. Yeah,
Spots. And then,
including some handicap spots as can
Yeah,
cut that.
handicap.
Yeah.
parking, and then the document for the breakdown of the HOAs.
Yeah, or even if it's just language, for me at least, if it's just language about a condition that we can impose, I mean, I think it's gonna be as simple as like there has to be somebody available at all times to be in the parking lot and help with parking, but
Yeah.
I think if you can think about what you guys are willing to do or able to do, that might change that.
Right.
And then I think just having a clear picture about lighting
Okay.
and, you mentioned like oil and trash removal and things like that. I think just like if you can explain to us sort of what that will look like, who's gonna
Yeah.
do it, where they're gonna be located.
Is there a dumpster?
Yeah, so we're thinking of getting a dumpster, for the place. And then we're also thinking of, the, oil disposal
Yep.
and the gray water tank disposal, but those are not like really big containers.
Yep.
And,
Where will they go?
it could probably go around in the back area,
I didn't see
like around this or on top.
When you have
So
the plan.
maybe in the back right here would be more appropriate, so it's out of.
Yep, and I think
People.
if you can put that on the plan, like where the dumpster's gonna be.
I'm a little concerned too, because if you're having a dumpster, that means there's gotta be a truck to pick it up, which means it's gotta access
Yeah, so
pavement.
they could probably go this way.
And usually we prefer them when they're fenced in.
Okay,
So those are things to keep in mind.
okay,
Your professional that you hire will tell you these things, but
yeah,
I mean, it just,
Yeah, so give some thought to that about like waste pickup. I think deliveries probably aren't really a factor here because the trucks will probably come with what they have, but where you're gonna have trash cans, where you're gonna have your dumpster. And how you're gonna, service. I see the bathrooms up in the top left corner. I'm assuming that's like porta potties or something, but
yeah, so this one right here.
some sort of just plan, if you've talked to someone about how that's gonna happen and when it's gonna be serviced and that kind of thing, just so we can know all of those things beforehand.
trying to be as helpful as we can, so I apologize. It seems like a
No,
lot.
That's okay. I mean, these are things that, again, it's my first time to
Yeah,
be doing this
and I
as
think it'll be
well.
better off for you guys as well to think this
Yeah.
through and agree to stuff beforehand and make sure you got people that are committed.
Yeah,
Right,
And I don't know how close to the road the parking is going to be, but I'd like to see enough space that if people want to be walking, if people are walking, they've got.
Oh, it's not right up against the
Yes,
roadway.
it's not
Yeah.
right up against the roadway.
excellent.
so this is kind of like the easement, or
Yep.
what do you call that? And then then this is the road.
Yep.
But we're thinking of when you go parking here to go to basically block this area right here and have the entrance that way, and then they can go this way to get food, and so that they're not like around.
Walking around, but yeah,
Yeah, so
okay.
basically they go.
Keeping pedestrians
we'll
out of
have
the
a
parking
door
lot.
right here,
Yep.
and they
Have you
go in.
considered putting like a stone path in or some kind of marking to kind of like control that flow? That's another thing we'd look for.
We're probably gonna get like, I was thinking of having those posts and then have like a cord
Can we
Yeah.
do it?
that goes
And I
like
think
that,
you said-
because I mean, we wanna spend as much money. I have like a grand plan for this
Yeah.
space, but you
As
know,
long as it's
first year is
marked.
always hard.
Well, and not to volunteer Dylan for too much of this, but he's done a lot of this as well. And
Okay,
so
cool.
I think if you need to talk to him
Yeah.
before our next meeting, you know, he can probably also translate some of the stuff that we've been talking about tonight. But I think if we can get a little clearer picture of some of the stuff,
Okay,
I mean, it's hard when we love a project so much to kick it down the road a little bit, but I personally think this looks like
I
a
want this
cool
to
thing.
happen.
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'm on it. You just let me know what I need
So-
to do and I can figure it out.
So how about timing too? I mean, I don't want to jam you up on
Yeah.
getting this information, but I also don't want you to sit around with nothing to do. So I think,
Oh, I have a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
That's no problem.
so our joint ordinance one is at the next meeting. Is that right, Dylan? Is that like?
No, they kicked that one to, I think, April 21st, I
Oh,
would
that's further
say.
out. Okay. So our next one, do we have a second one?
The
Another one in
question is,
March?
how long do you think you'll need to put all this together?
My target date is May, but,
I mean, to put everything together that we've asked for.
oh,
Bring
okay.
it back to us.
I probably think that I would rather get it done fast
Mhm.
because I still have to organize the food trucks and all that stuff. And then the season is also starting for me, for my
Yep.
my road business. So,
But you do
yeah.
also have to go back to this person and have them get you your drawing, which is a little bit out of your control time.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine, so I have
Okay.
a little bit of flexibility there, but,
Dylan,
yeah, I
what are our
mean,
next
like,
two
when
meetings?
can we meet again? Then I can work under that.
Yeah,
time.
okay. So
So we actually have, our next one is actually in 3 weeks. So it's a little bit of a buffer
because we
because
moved this one up.
actually, no, we just have an extra. We have a 5th
Oh, right.
Tuesday.
So that's like the first week in April. Is that what it is?
So second week of April, so April 7th will be the first Tuesday of the month. So 3 weeks from today would be our next meeting. Then after that, in 5 weeks, we have the 21st.
You think you can have all this by April 7th?
All right, I think that makes sense. I thought 2 weeks would be too tight, but I think 3 weeks might be perfect.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, like, it's better to get it
Yeah,
done
keep you
as
working
fast
on
as
it.
possible, yeah.
Any other comments or questions from planning board members? Dylan, any other thoughts or comments?
No, the only one I was thinking about, which I want to bring up, was just how power was going to be connected, because this is all power. There's no one's using a generator, correct? That was a conversation with yourself and Captain Constantine. Am I right about that?
Yeah, so we're thinking of, so I think there's like at least 3 outlets there that could power 3 food trucks. And then we're gonna try to, like, Mr. Cernak and I will talk about adding more power to
Great.
give to the,
All right, that's another good one, Dylan.
Actually, something I just thought of, there, a lot of people in the good weather are out on bicycles, so maybe have a bike rack
Mm.
somewhere.
I was gonna say that, but then I was thinking about the traffic on Northampton Street and how safe that would be. I mean, we're not necessarily close to a bike path. So that's the only thing that I was thinking about. Otherwise, I would love that
Yep.
idea. To have that, like, bike only, no car stop.
Yeah, right. We're not quite there yet. Okay, that all sounds
So
really
that they
good.
can work up their appetite,
Can I
right?
say, I would love for the person you hired to think closely about that, because a lot of people just travel with bikes now, and having a place they can lock it is
Okay,
essential. So, I mean, that's a customer base you'd be driving away. And
Yeah.
I mean, we'll try to do our best to determine the safety
yeah.
on that. I love that you're thinking of it too, but
So you're
But I-
saying that I could have a bike?
in Easthampton,
Parking.
bikes share the road.
I bike
Okay.
along that road
Okay,
all the time.
Yep.
perfect.
Bikes share the
Yeah,
road. They have the
that's
same
great.
rules, so it's on cars to stay out of a bike's.
That would be great if we can actually have a bike parking in there. 'Cause then that would actually solve some of the.
Well, you also can
issues.
probably put it
Rack.
over on the grass, so it
Yeah.
won't even take up a car space.
Exactly, and they won't enter into.
Right, exactly.
Ken, any questions, comments?
Great.
Nope, I'm good for now.
All right, any comments from the public in the room or online?
Thank you.
I would just like to offer our engineering services if
Okay.
your friend doesn't come through, here's my card.
Oh,
There you go.
wonderful. I can see, yeah.
All right, I will take a motion to continue to April 7th.
Motion to continue the Cheryl Deala's special permit on
Okay,
114
perfect.
Northampton
Thank you.
Street for a food truck court to April 7th.
Second.
All right, voting to continue this to April 7th at 6 PM. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you,
Opposed,
guys.
abstaining? All right, we'll see you in a few weeks. Thank you so much. Good luck. All right, moving right along, we've got Joe Kelly seeking a special permit, 279, 283 Loudville and the rear half 279. Hello.
Good evening, everybody.
An update on where we are and what's going on?
Certainly. John Furman, Office Manager and Engineer of Record for VHB in Springfield. Joe Kelly and Craig out here with me, applicant and builder. And I think our last meeting was a month and a half ago. We were continued because of the snowstorm. I've checked in with Dylan on a regular basis to see if any additional comments have surfaced that we need to address, and apparently there are none. I have our plan set loaded and I can share screen if anyone wants a reminder of what it looks like. But as far as our position on the project is, we have put two, I believe, response to comment letters together that addressed all the comments, both from abutters meetings that we had, and I'm sorry, one response to comment letter, but it contained responses to planning board comments, comments from the public that were raised during the planning board, and then comments from one of the two abutters meetings that we had privately outside of this room. The plan set, we had a planning board meeting, or planning board walk the site. I think most of the members were there. It kind of gave you a feel for what it looked like. Dylan wanted to go out, but the snowstorm got in the way and he wasn't interested in trudging through his foot of snow. So we got rid of that. I think we're all set. We've submitted draft homeowners agreements and a master deed for the project, which are mirrors of Pineview Estates. Incidentally, just so the planning board knows, the last two units on Pineview Estates, the one across the street, have been sold. Deposits were taken on it. So that project is, as permitted, has been completely sold out. So there is a demand for these houses in that area. I'm happy to walk through the plans again if the board wants. If not, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I believe we've addressed everything, department and planning board wise, and we're hoping we can close the meeting and get a decision.
And no changes to the plans or anything since our last
The
meeting?
last plans we presented were the only changes, which were the result of the site walk.
Comments or questions from the board?
I'm ready to start running through conditions.
Okay. Did the board have a chance to look at the findings? Board members look at the findings already?
Thank you for putting that together,
Yeah,
Dylan. Appreciate it.
I think we've gone through this enough and we've had this decision long enough. Unless anyone has any questions or comments on the findings themselves, I think we just confirm the conditions.
Concur.
Okay, so moving on to the conditions that are in this plan. Most of these ones we all talked about before, but first one is all site improvements shall be constructed and maintained in accordance with the plans that are prepared, and lists all the plans that were submitted. Again, speak up, anybody on the board, if there's any comments or questions. Second, the road, water facilities, sewage facilities, and other utilities within the development shall remain private in perpetuity. Any maintenance thereof, snow plowing, waste removal, and any other cost shall be the responsibility of the applicant or any successor, owner, or association. 3, prior to the commencement of any site work, not including erosion and sediment controls, the applicant shall coordinate a pre-construction meeting, which will include engineer of record for the project, the contractor, the city engineer, and a representative from the planning board. The purpose of the meeting shall be to review construction stage erosion controls, stormwater controls, and compliance with the special permit requirements. And B, the applicant to provide a stormwater bond in the amount of $114,750 to the city of Easthampton Planning Department. 4, prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the first unit, except the existing single-family dwelling, the engineer of record shall certify that the following have been installed in compliance with the approved plans. A, the base course of the new road, B, water and sewer utilities, including sewer lift station, and C, all components of the stormwater management system. 5, the permanent stormwater basin shall be completed and stabilized with vegetative growth prior to applying the base course of asphalt to the road. All tree belt areas shall be loamed, seeded, and stabilized with erosion control matting in conjunction with the application of the base course of asphalt. Surface water from unstabilized areas of the site shall be directed away from the paved road and into temporary infiltration basins. 6, within 18 months of the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the first unit, the final paving shall be completed for the entire road. 7, in the event that any required improvements cannot be completed prior to the issuance of a CO, an alternative schedule shall be reviewed and approved by the board at a public meeting prior to the issuance of a temporary CO. 8, the stormwater management system shall be maintained on an annual basis. The sumps of all catch basins shall be cleaned out annually. 9, the death or removal of plantings installed pursuant to the approved layout and materials plan shall require immediate placement with a similar species and size as originally required. 10, the applicant shall notify the Easthampton Planning Department by email 14 days prior to the establishment of the homeowners association or trust. 11, the governing documents of the homeowners association shall include provisions related to maintenance of the stormwater management system, sewage system, and pump station. 12, prior to the issuance of the final CO or the transfer of the property to HOA, whichever occurs first, the planning department shall be provided final as-built plans for the project, which shall include final grading, landscaping, and all utility laterals servicing the individual housing units. B, the applicant shall coordinate a post-construction meeting, including the engineer of record, city engineer, and a representative from the planning board. The purpose of the meeting shall be to demonstrate that all improvements were built in accordance with the approved plans and specifications. 13, the planning board may require the applicant to fund the board's employment of outside consultants, including without limitation engineers and attorneys, to ensure compliance with these conditions and the approved plans pursuant to GL 44, 53G. And 14, any substantial changes to the site design, building footprint, or building elevations as shown in the revised site plans dated January 7th, 2026, to be determined by the building commissioner shall be reviewed by the planning board in a public meeting. The purpose of this public meeting will be to determine whether these changes necessitate the reopening of a public hearing for this project.
Woodlands was one of the things that we said we wanted to say were gonna be maintained.
Yep,
I don't see that one of these covered
I think
that.
that's right.
Yeah, again, just to be careful. So we wanted to add something to say that the woodlands would be maintained. That wasn't even my condition. Someone else mentioned it. I just
Yes.
took a note about it.
I have that in my notes too. That it was,
The question is, would it be the place with the wetland off to the side? Is that the?
yeah, there
woodlands
was some
maybe?
discussion about that. I don't think there's anything formally happening deeded wise to that part of the parcel, right? The wetlands part, but there was,
That's correct. I mean, we can't get to it anyway because the wetland goes from boundary to boundary. But I believe what the intent was, similar to Pine View, that there was a restriction that the clearing line that is shown on the plans is to be respected and not encroached.
remain undisturbed or something like that. Yeah, okay. So Dylan, maybe we can have that as a condition. Anything
Yeah.
outside of the line of clearance will remain undisturbed and undeveloped or.
Yep. If I could maybe add, when we walked that site, the woodland in back had a number of trees that were down and stuff. So we may want to get in there and just take those out, but not do any additional cutting. Could we just add the word, maintenance as required, but no
development.
No development.
Yep.
Something
I
along
think
that
that's good.
lines.
The other one we talked about was the loading and unloading on Loudville. And I know there's some of that work that needs to take place in Loudville, but I think
That's
there was a commitment that you could do the loading and unloading off the road when that wasn't where the work was happening.
That is correct. And I
Okay.
think that condition was in Pine View as well, is that all loading will take place, off Loudville, except for when actual work needs to occur in Loudville.
Yep.
Machinery has to be there.
Okay, that was the only other one that I had in my notes that didn't make it in here. Or I skimmed it and missed it.
I can do, like, we can type that up now, or I can do a placeholder and copy and paste.
Let's
from the-
let's do a placeholder. I mean, we're gonna have to sign this all anyways and get it out. So I think that, but I don't have any other conditions. Any other thoughts from planning board members? Ken?
No,
Anybody else from the public? I think it's only in the room, but comments, questions? All right,
I motion to approve the special permit for Joe Kelly for 283 Loudville Road with the aforementioned two conditions in addition to the others.
Second.
all right, voting to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, none. All right, thank you all, folks.
Fantastic.
We'll get that out.
Do you have to vote on a stormwater permit as well as that, or is that incorporated into the
I
special?
think it's included in the special permit.
Okay.
I mean,
There
because
you go.
that's part of what we have in here, right, is the stormwater permit.
And let it be said that it is the intent that our vote included the stormwater permit.
Awesome. Thank you, all the board members, very
Thank you
much.
all.
Appreciate you supporting
Yep,
this.
good luck the rest of the way. Thank
Thank you.
you.
I might see you back for the food truck.
Yeah.
To see if she calls.
Yeah.
Chase her down.
All right.
I'm sorry. I motion to adjourn.
Somebody second that.
Second.
All right, voting to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.